is she supposed to do with 3 million naira? You know, these are the conversations. Okay.
And you know, you are signing 100 million, you are getting 3 million. What they are telling you is that with this 3 million, you don't even bother to do anything with it. It's just your own share. But I so and you know the thing about local government, like just go to the secretariat. You will see that there's really nothing happening. A lot of times you just sit out, miscreants hanging around, hoping to get one or two cash handouts from the chairman. You see some of the local government.
I have one or two friends working at LCDAs and local governments and co, and I can tell you that she resumes 11 and closes 2 p.m. It's an amazing one. I have to tell you that. All right, but away from all of that, there's still the issue of the fuel scarcity that still persists. Lagos and Abuja are getting it really hard this time around, and it's something that we also need to put on the front burner. Aside from the fact that it is scarce, we also have the issue of the amount that the price that people are purchasing this very essential, very, very important commodity for. People are getting it for as much as 300 naira to 350 naira.
I bought 250 yesterday.
Wow. I can't even begin to imagine how much the black market would be selling it at this time. Exactly, at this time now. It's unfortunate, and still the silence of the federal government is heavy. Is heavy on this particular situation, and NNPCL also nothing, no word, nothing to even.
I call it criminal silence, Sandra.
It's very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. But then let's discuss what's trending from the papers very quickly without further ado. Let's start with the Nation newspaper, and the major headline there: ex-depot price hits 225 naira per litre as petrol scarcity persists. Marketers urge NNPCL to stock product for 60 days. Pricing gap widens to 34%. So, ex-depot price of petrol has risen by 5 basis points to 225 naira per litre, and motorists and commuters are really bearing the brunt of all of this, because if the depot is selling at that particular amount, of course the pump price would have to sell higher. That's why some people like Fuad is purchasing fuel at 250. All right, but more question that I need to ask as regards this, so we can move on, is why every time NNPCL says, we have fuel that can last us for so and so days, it's always for a month. Why can't we have fuel stocked up for at least 3 months? Why are we streamed to
a year?
Or even a year? I mean, we churn out enough crude oil that should be able to sustain us for that long. So why every time NNPCL comes out, no, don't worry, we have fuel, but it's always like, we have fuel for the next 30 days. We have fuel.
I know what that would do, Sandra. If we're able to import and store for maybe 6 months or a year, it means that we're going to be able to mitigate the effect of fluctuation in prices. So
it's going to
if anything happens to forex or anything, at least you have a stock that will last you through a longer period, so you don't have to continue to shift and change prices. And again, the issue of having enough stock is still going back to what we've been saying, Sandra. I think it is high time that the NNPC gets off its hands as the sole importer of the refined fuel into this country. Just open it up to everybody. Some of the major marketers, Sandra, I'm still saying, just this morning I was having a discussion with a number of persons that look, some of the major marketers also have the capacity to import, to give them the license. They've proven that because the thing again is that a lot of the depot of NNPC is not working as a speak, it's not in good shape. So they have to teach the private depot. So why not just open up the thing, give everybody license, do wherever you are, stock your forex from wherever you are, from wherever, and then import into this one, help us flood the market to refine fuel. So again, the idea of limiting everything, pricing everything, and over-regulating everything, is the reason that it's the reason for the level of corruption that we have in the whole sector. Why is NNPC the sole importer of refined fuel into this country? Why? And then they are refining like just the standard. The only time whenever they bring it, they only bring it for 1 month. How does that make any sense?
Well, as just exactly as you have said, it's the private depots that are the ones that have this fuel now available, because the information that we have now is that there is no NNPCL station or depot that has fuel at the moment. So all the marketers, most of the marketers are purchasing from, the private depots, which is why you have this amount. So if the private depots have it easier to, dispense fuel or to disburse fuel, why don't we make it easier or unburden, NNPCL by opening up the market of importation of petrol?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That
exactly.
Since we are not refining locally, and then we bring in the imports, why not open it up? Let everybody bring in the thing. So even if we try that model standard, it's possible that the price will even go down. Because what you do is that you have enough. If you simple economics, if supply is more than demand, what happens to price? If the whole place is flooded and in fact depots are even probably begging people to come and buy because you have too much in their stock, we may be seeing a situation where prices are going to drop. Like I said, don't overregulate it. Allow for these guys to go source for forex wherever they want to source it, because that will be another issue. The idea of everybody needs to see them source for forex. Let them go to wherever they are, source their forex, take the forex, sell at whatever price they want to sell, so that we unbundle the whole thing, rather than overregulating it.
Okay, more details on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. Moving on now, we also have here Lagosians likely to ride on blue light rail before Christmas. So as of today now, we have barely 20 days to Christmas, or about 19 days or so to Christmas, and the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu may be giving Lagosians an unexpected Christmas gift, saying that he may launch the rail system within weeks. We're coming 11 years behind schedule. And so what we have now is the Blue Line is undergoing a test run to certify it's ready for commercial operation, and if that works out well, then we may be riding that before before Christmas Day in itself. Let's not forget that this Blue Line work started on it in 2006, 11 years after, and hopefully we may be enjoying one of the dividends that we've been expecting for a long while. Fuad, are you looking forward to riding on the train?
Why not? I'm a Lagosian, and it will be a beautiful thing to see that at least eventually it's working better late than never.
Yes.
But I would just urge the government not to rush anything. The test. I know that the test run is ongoing. Just from Maitu to Marina, it's supposed to be a long stretch of from CMS Marina to Okoko Maitu. But I think the first phase is what after 11 years and so much money going into. We eventually think that it's going to be completed. That's the first phase. The second phase, I think, is somewhere around Okoko. It's supposed to be a real project that also gets to pass on Badagry eventually. But if they are not ready by December, there's no reason to worry. If Nigerian negotiations have waited for over 11 years, we can only still wait for some few more months for them to get it right. So the idea of trying to rush it and saying, well, these are things that people all over the world, in other parts of the world, don't even talk about the normal kind of project. But it would be nice to see the Lagos State government complete this one and make it work eventually. But I just think that there's no reason to rush it. If we have waited 11 years, we can always wait a few months more.
All right, more details on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. We also have here Governors Gbajabiamila, others with Tinubu in UK. So APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be speaking today at Chatham House in London on his renewed hope agenda. All right, so he's also going to be expounding on his plans for security, economy, and foreign policy. All right, and he's been accompanied by the House of Representatives Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, his Jigawa State counterpart Abubakar Badaru, and former Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi. So that is happening in the UK, and more details on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Alright, moving on now, we also have here lovers bury newborn alive. That is on page 8. Grandma expectant mom held for drugs, also on page 8. Naval rating kill policeman injures others in Lagos, also on page 8. Bandits shoot imam, that's also on page 8. Now above
page 8, what is in that page 8?
What is happening on page 8 of the Nation newspaper? Well, you can get all the details there.
all negative stories, but that's
It's a little bit similar. It's a little similar to pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. Yes. All right. Above the masthead of the Nation newspaper, now we have here 500 doctors left in 2 years, says Medical Council. All right. I think this is something that we talk about almost every week, the brain drain in the health sector. And here we are now bringing to our notice is MADCAN, that's Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria, showing that the country has lost over 500 highly skilled medical and dental consultants to other more developed countries within 2 years. That is what we have. So it therefore goes without saying that the loss of this category will not only have an immediate negative impact on clinical service delivery, but it will leave a long-term devastating impact on the training of future doctors in the country, because who will be training the new ones that are coming if the highly skilled ones are leaving?
You know, Sandra, we are talking of quality medical facilities in the country. We are also talking about quality personnel now. So double problem, double tragedy for the country. We have a country where the facilities are not really available. That quality facilities to deliver what you call quality healthcare, at least at the minimum standard. So as you are grappling with that, you now have a situation where your best and your best brain in that same sector are living in droves. So basically what you have is a situation where ordinary Nigerians are left, to God, to just take care of them. Because if you don't have good facilities and you don't have good personnel, then what do? And that's why you see a lot of cases of misdiagnosis. You have a lot of Nigerians die for things that ordinarily they would have been able to handle.
Yes.
I think there was a time somebody told me that, if not that the brother had to go to the UK, he would have died. He had to go to sit up on a tumor in his brain. And the surgery had to when he was in Nigeria, nothing was done. They couldn't even help him. So it's unfortunate, these things. And one of the presidential candidates couldn't even commit to the fact that he would use Nigerian hospital yesterday at the town hall meeting. He couldn't even commit to it. They asked him, are you going to commit to the fact that, look, when you become president, you only use Nigerian hospital? He said, me, I can't commit to that one. No.
More details on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. We also have here Adeleke's certificate. My life under threat, says a PDP chieftain. And who could that be? That's on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. So, a chieftain of the PDP in Osun State, Akin Adeyi, has petitioned the assistant IGP in charge of Zone 11 over alleged threat to his life by some members of the party. Alright, and Adeyi, who is a former employee of DSS, had a restaurant linked to him demolished at the weekend by thugs allegedly in police uniforms. So he's saying that there's a threat to his life as it is now. I'm a little bit concerned.
We should inform the police and that again, trying to link everything to politics. For me, I don't know, Again, the headline has modeled the open up now.
I don't know what that has to do with that certificate. I'm going through the report and I can't even see any follow-up to that particular one.
So I don't know how these guys suddenly have connections like the Lexia and the fact that the restaurant was attacked by hoodlums. And then, so the DSS, for me, the story is so tacky that you can't even...
Okay, so what I'm getting here is that he's saying that he exercised his right as a member of the PDP early in 2021 when he approached the PDP governorship aspirant screening appeal committee with a petition against the academic qualification and records yes. So the panel agreed that the credential contained lots of damaging errors and fraudulent claims. If the screening committee actually said this, then why push that same candidate forward? But that's not even the point here. The point is that he made a petition, but I'm wondering why a petition that happened since 2021, and the person there's a governor already now from same party. Why that petition? Why that would or how that would be a threat to another person's life? But then more details on page
Sandra, you have a lot of overzealous supporters. I remember the day when Adenike was sworn, we had a lot of supporters who got into the streets of Osogbo, another part of Osun State, destroying billboards and posters of the former governor, and other things. I guess maybe some of them have also got to you were the one that exposed him about the state and all of that. I think the committee was necessary. Like you said, they have a governor now. I think they should concentrate more on delivering the goods for the people rather than all of these kind of things. But it's good that these guys taking up, and I think we should inform the appropriate authority to get him protected.
All right. More details on, just as you said, where's the story? More details on page 4. And finally from The Nation, how to curtail rising debt profile. All right. And that is coming from the DMO, that's the Debt Management Office. And what we have from this report is that Nigeria is now facing the risk of being unable to sustain its rising national public debt unless urgent actions are taken to curtail expenditure and increase the country's revenue. I think this is something that we've discussed over and over and over before Fuad comes up and says exactly. The debt profile is rising, affecting inflation, and we're just not making enough money. It's almost like you are
we make, we steal it, so that's
Lord have mercy. I'm with you.
The president said they're stealing money now.
Okay.
I'm actually borrowing from the work of the president.
Yes, I agree with you.
So we're not making enough money, but the one we make, we're also stealing it. So, and so, and we even borrow and still the one we borrow again.
Still the one that is borrowed again. Very unfortunate one. Well, that is our reality. But more details of that on page 4. And that's all we have from The Nation newspaper. So now, moving on to The Guardian newspaper. You're still listening to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. And the major headline from The Guardian: after 251 days, Abuja Kaduna rail service resumes amid 6.6 billion naira losses. So the riders to that: NRC, that's Nigeria Railway Corporation. Federal government only lost 113 million naira to Abuja Kaduna railway closure. All right, so that happened March 28th. So that's about 9 months ago. I guess that's where the calculation is coming from. Okay, fare hike takes effect today. We increased fares due to diesel cost and improved security, says Okiria. IGP assures of safety, deploys personnel en route and operational coaches. Experts insist not safe to travel by train unless there's aerial surveillance and armed drone patrol.
And what would that cost, Sandra, to do that? To deploy that every day? Just imagine what the cost would be.
Wow. Abuja Kaduna Highway to be completed in first quarter of 2023, Minister assures. So here we are now, Fuad. The fact that the federal government is claiming that they have lost over 100 million naira due to the fact that they had to close the rail line for almost 9 months. Also, we have here that the fact that experts are saying that for that rail line to be safe to travel, they have to, disburse aerial surveillance and armed drone patrol have to be put out.
Armed drone patrol.
Armed drone. So if the drone is going around and it sees something, you should be able to do something, basically.
And I don't think we're able to do that, but I'm looking at the cost, to be able to deploy such a facility, just to be on the watch out and guard a train running from Kaduna to Abuja. The cost for me wouldn't tally. Even increases times 3 or times 4 the cost of riding on the train.
Yeah, exactly.
It will not be enough to get such a facility. And that's why it's not just about this, what I call a knee-jerk approach to trying to secure people. It has to be a holistic thing. If, for example, the whole of that area is weak of bandits, of criminal elements and all of that, why do you need all your surveillance? It's just about improving the security network within communities in that area, making them extra safe and clear them of those kind of criminal elements. So are you saying that every time the train runs, the drone follows it? Is it
just going to be one train per day, or how are they going to are they going to do that?
So I really don't know how that is going to work. And I think that I think the NLC needs to understand that, look, beyond the fact that, oh, the train can now work again, how do you build the people's confidence again? And then we have to be careful so that we don't have a repeat of what happened there, some few months back. We don't want a situation, because if they did it then, they were successful with it, which is they won't want to repeat it again. The response time again is also very important, Sandra. The response time, which was one of the things we were able to point out then, that it was a complete failure, the response time from the security personnel. So I don't know if any Nigerian would still so confident to ride on the train. If I am sorry, I wouldn't, with the information we're getting.
Okay.
I would rather not risk my life.
Well, as it is now, the rail line is open for business. So from today, people can start plying that route. But we'll see how how confident people are in the system, and let's see if people are actually going to come out to ride on the rail tracks. More details on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving on now, we also have here Naira redesign. Any attempts to reduce cash holding will cripple the economy. That is on page 15 of the Guardian newspaper, and that is that's from an interview with Geoff Iyatse with David Adori, an economist and vice chairman of HiCap Securities Limited. All right, more details on page 15. We also have here contempt. Court okays suit seeking removal of Chief of Army Staff. Okay, so last week we had that conversation as regards what's happening between the judiciary and security forces or whatnot. But what we have now, there's an update to that, and we have the fact that the court has okayed a suit that's seeking the removal of the Chief of Army Staff, Farouk Yahaya, and the story is on page 4. Okay, and what we have is that a federal high court sitting in Abuja has okayed a suit seeking to compel the president immediately sack Chief of Army Staff General Farouk Yahaya following the judgment that convicted and sentenced him to prison for contempt. Let's not forget that on November 30th, a high court in Niger State had ordered that the army chief be remanded at the prison in Minna for willfully disobeying an order it made on October 12. Alright, so in a fresh action, a constitutional lawyer, Mr. Jidobi John Murray, approached the High Court asking it to determine whether, having regard to the provision of the Constitution, the President is possessed of the constitutional powers to appoint a Chief of Army Staff who has been convicted and serving jail time exactly as a result of the sentence imposed on him. So, following his conviction of the crime of contempt of court, the President should sack the Chief of Army Staff. That is what that story is about. You can get all of the details on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. There's a whole lot of...
We want to see what the response of the president will be. Like I said, the army is also, the report we have is that the army is also looking at some of the legal options to take on this particular issue. And ordinarily, yes, the courts are right. Like I said the last time, Sandra, this is democracy at work, where you see what you call the independence of the judiciary to take positions on things like this. And then of course, to test the might of our court to be able to deliver such judgments. The first time we had that, it was the EFCC chairman that got sentence as a result of contempt for the IGP and now the Chief of Army Staff. So I like the fact that the courts are standing strong. We are testing the minds of the courts and seeing, yes, what you call the independence of the judiciary at play with things like this. But I'm going to wait to see, or we'll wait to see the response of the president to this particular issue, and then what the response of the army, will also be. But it's democracy at work, and I think it's good to see these things happen.
Alright, more details on page 4. Moving on now, we also have here Serap sues Buhari over failure to probe alleged missing trillions in ecological funds. Alright, and that's also on page 4. So, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has sued the president and 2 others at the Federal High Court over failure to probe the spending of alleged trillions of naira in ecological funds by federal, state, and local governments from 2001 to date. and ensure the prosecution of suspected perpetrators of corruption and mismanagement of public funds. Alright, so as now, no date has been fixed for the hearing of the suit, but joined in the suit as respondents, we have the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and also Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa. So, we can get all of that on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Now, finally from the Guardian, we have here, Tinubu absent as Atiku Obi Kwakwanso spar at Arise TV debate. And that's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. So, there's this, there have been a lot of conversation as regards, town hall meetings and debates and the importance and, the constitutional backings and whatnot. But it seems that the APC presidential candidate is standing his ground, not granting any form of media,
I think particularly the Arise TV interview, which I think he has singled out as having some elements of bias. From some of the statements we had from their spokesperson, the campaign council. I think it's very clear, that they wouldn't be a part of the Arise TV. I think part of even their statement is to say, look, don't put the picture of our candidate as on the poster, publicizing the town hall meeting. Like we said, there's really no law in Nigeria that mandates a candidate to attend a town hall meeting or and it's a choice, and it's a choice of that's the choice of the candidate, and I think Nigerians also have a choice to make to say, look, okay, are we going to go with someone who decided to shun one or two debates? But I'm waiting to see the general one that is organized by the Nigeria Debate Group, which is almost like the umbrella body. Debates in Nigeria, so one would see whether there will be another excuse again that exactly more like the Nigerian Debate Group organizing that. But it was interesting to see other candidates, talk about different policy issues yesterday, and I think it's interesting. It's the choice of the APC candidate that I think Nigerians should just allow him to exercise his rights, while they also exercise their rights on election day.
Alright, okay. Now, just as you have said, Tinubu actually, through his presidential campaign council, in a statement indicated that he won't be attending any debate organized by Arise TV, whom he accused of being biased against him. And he also asked the supporters and spokesperson to boycott same TV station. Alright, but more details on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Just as Father said, hopefully when there's a much more
general and more
independent, a much more independent one, hopefully we'll be able to hear something from him then. Well, let's keep moving, and that's all we have from the Guardian newspaper. Alright, still on trends in the papers. Now let's move on to the Punch and let's see what's happening there. The major headline from the Punch newspaper. Bauchi Gombe fights over new oil wells. I mean, just how many hours after they just started drilling 2 seconds ago, and here we are. We are talking about. Alright, well, the riders to that, 4 oil wells are in Gombe. Boundary Commission hypocritical, says Governor's special advisor. Kolmani is.
You see that the mistake of the past is coming up now. That we say we should avoid.
Exactly. Kolmani is in Gombe. Late NNPC GMD misled Buhari. Niger Delta scenario looms, says residents. Matter taking different dimension. Bauchi government will consult. Commissioner assures stakeholders. So interesting times ahead, or interesting days ahead. Just a few seconds ago, we were all jubilating at the fact that we now have more resources.
In the north,
more money for the nation, exactly. But here we are. Crisis appears to be brewing over the ownership of the Kolmani oil and gas field, as both Bauchi and Gombe states have started laying claims to the oil wells.
Which local government controls Kolmani? There has to be a local government that controls that territory.
Bauchi is saying that Bauchi owns Komani. Gombe is saying that Gombe owns Komani. So, so who owns Komani? So the issue is it a situation of I don't know if you remember the Ladoke Akitola, university scenario
between Osun and Oyo
State, and the back and forth. So I think in this situation, it's just the same boundary issues now. It's just like saying, Fuad, this is simple. Where is Akute?
That's Ogun State, and it's clear, Ogun State.
Some Akute people say they live in Lagos.
I have
a friend when she's writing her address, she writes Akute Alagbule, Lagos. That's what she writes.
No, she's just messing herself up with that.
So
that is Alagbule, Akute in Ogun State, and it's clear, nobody will dispute that. Although there are areas, there are overlapping areas in that area. For example, there are parts of Ojodu that falls in Lagos State, and there are parts of Ojodu in Ogun State. You're just like a beggar too, the beggar bus stop. You have parts of beggar in Lagos and parts of beggar in Ogun State. Maybe that's the problem now with Komani. Without oil, there would have been a problem,
Well,
nobody ever disputed the ownership of Komani until oil was discovered.
Until oil was discovered. All right, but the chairman of the National Boundary Commission, hails from Gombe State. So here, that's where here we are now. So here we are now. So what we have now is NNPC must go to Gombe side and construct a road like they did in Bauchi sides. Besides, it is clear Komani 1 is in Bauchi State in Alkeleri. Well, there are 4 oil wells in Gombe. So is it the name now, or is it the name of that particular one that they're talking about, the Komani one, or what exactly is the situation here? There is a village head in Komani who is answerable to a district head, who is answerable to Pindiga Emirate. And Pindiga Emirate is under Akko local government. Akko local government is in Gombe.
That's what I'm saying.
But there's a lot of back and forth as regards the particular drilling site or so. Where is it situated now?
Sandra, it's too early to fight. I think they should need to tell the people that it's just too early to fight over this thing. And again, when the president talked about not making the mistake of the past, we're already seeing us drifting towards making the same mistake. Before you know it now, you have insecurity, you have the sense of banditry, you have people busting pipelines, and then all of these things start to happen. I don't think it's too early to fight, really. Because I know that there will be a local government. No matter what you talk about, again, they brought in the sentiments of the fact that the DG of the Boundary Commission is from Gombe State, and that's why it's targeting rural Gombe. But the reality is that inch of land, that parcel of land, that square meter of land, will be under the control of a particular local government. The local government is in which state? It makes it very simple.
Well, there's so many back and forth. I mean, if you read from Bauchi's side, you also see some sense coming from there, because they're saying that to buttress this argument, that area belongs to Bauchi. All right, the lawmakers said all communities in that jurisdiction are paying their taxes to Bauchi.
They just like Lagos and Ogun State. You have situations where people live in the border area, see themselves as living in Lagos and all of that. So you have new questions of where do you pay your tax to and all of that. But when it comes to geographical markings, it's always very, very clear. You know where exactly the boundary area is. Although that's why you have the boundary commission to determine some of these things. But I just think that whether it is going to be about it is just too early to fight over these things, and then we should be careful again not to repeat the mistakes of the past. Before you know it, you be tearing into high level insecurity, and then the essence of the whole thing is messed up.
Okay. All right. Well, a resident actually spoke as regards the matter. A resident of Pindiga is apparently in Gombe State, and he's saying that they will not allow themselves to be moved to Bauchi because of oil discovery. So I'm from Gombe. Don't put me in Bauchi because of oil discovery. So it's basically someone, someone probably at Magbo or so, or no, more closer now. Someone at Akute saying hello, please. All my life I've been in Ogun State. So just because oil has been discovered, now you want to move me to Lagos. That's basically what that resident is saying. It's a very long read. You can get the details from page 2. But the point from all of this is the fact that are we having a repeat of what happened in the Niger Delta regions?
It's as simple as that.
It's very unfortunate. However, the group general manager for NNPC is saying that attention should rather be focused on oil production from the wells at the moment. So let's worry about that one for now. Not who.
That's what is the problem for that one.
Not who owns what. This should be resolved. Let's not have another. I don't want to mention the name. Let's not have another part 2 of that particular scenario.
Yeah.
All right. But who owns Kolmani? Yes, that's the big question now. Who owns Kolmani, Gombe, or Bauchi State? That's the big question. All right, but moving away from that, that's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Who owns that, or who owns what not? I hope I've not been able to, say what will confuse people.
I'm sure that the community or a particular part of the state that nobody cared about
before.
I'm sure nobody ever.
That's why somebody that lives in Kolmani is saying that. I mean, let me quote him. I said, "We will not allow ourselves to be moved to Bauchi," adding that all discovery should not be a reason why I should lose my origin. We are casting our votes in respect to the State Assembly of Gombe and not Bauchi. We are not ready to be snatched because of oil to a different state. That's what a resident of Pindiga is saying. I've been paying my taxes to Gombe. I've been voting for Gombe State of Assembly. I've been doing things in good. Just because there's oil now, you are telling me that I'm from Bauchi State. So that's the conversation. That's what a resident, is saying as regards that particular one. All right. There's still consultations ongoing, but just as Fuad has said, geographical markings, probably, the boundary people should see more or do more.
Now that they said the man is from the state, and so the cabinet don't trust his judgment, is that not the problem?
But the man marked Kolmani as Bauchi.
Okay.
That's the situation now. So let's move past that. That's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper, between Bauchi and Gombe State. Moving on, we also have here federal government unveils new curriculum for varsities today. That is on page 9 of the Punch newspaper. All right, and we also have Buhari seeks improved security in ECOWAS region, also on page 9. We also have here, police Arepo Estate accused of plotting murder suspects release. That's on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And then let's move now. We also have here Atiku Obi Kwakwanso lock horns at town hall meeting. That's on page 46. Now above the masthead of the Punch newspaper, we have poor network. INEC to meet NCC and telcos on Tuesday. That's tomorrow. All right, and that's on page 20.
And I'm actually afraid for INEC. I must tell you that we will continue to get optimistic that they'll be able to deliver. If few days to election, the issues of network is still what they are discussing. One would have thought that by now they are completely clear, they understand what the network issues are, they've done their test run of the beavers in the most interior part of the country, and it's all clear. It's just about 80 days to the elections. They are just meeting with NCC, they are still talking about network issues, and I have my fears for INEC. But again,
all right, but on a normal day, all right, there's what we call blind spots in the telco network. All right, it's even if there's like for example, in this whole Milan FM building, there's a blind spot. There's a spot where no matter what you do, it will just not pick it. Yes, it will just not pick it. Exactly. So that what they are focusing on now is as regards blind spot, finding a solution to blind spots. All right, working with the major mobile network operators, 4 of them, and these are the 4 networks operators that have wireless network across the country. So what they said now, or what INEC is saying now, is that they've identified the blind spots and that they will find a solution to the question of the blind spot. What can be done to transmit from every part of the country in real time from those blind spots? So that's that's about that.
If you were part of what I'm saying, Sandra,
yes, I understand.
That they would have started out a long time ago, not very close to the election, but
okay.
To see how they're able to move past that and surmount that challenge.
All right. I mean, let's give them some time. I mean, they still have about they still have less than 2 months, 3 months. So they have less than 3 months to work.
Very close to the election.
Very. All right. Moving on now. I'm excited with the rollout of the money. The money is coming out next week, so that's what's on my mind. I want to spend the new money. I'm
waiting for the money, the new note.
It's 15th, so we're waiting for that one. All right, more details of the Poor Network report on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. We also have Nigeria's telecom subscribers hit 214 million. That's on page 38. Finally, from the Punch, marketers resort to private depots. Shortage hits NNPC. That's on page 31. So, unofficially, or as it is now, the report is trying to tell us that NNPC does not have fuel.
We can't have the thing again in which we need to ask ourselves. If NNPC is so important, we still find fuel. Why is it that the private depots have? And
they do have.
Who has given it to private depots? You are the importer.
Who is selling it to the
so is it that the deliberate attempt to ensure that the NNPC depots don't have, so that the private depots have and they can sell at higher prices? That's why we see that, that's why we first said to the business, and there's a criminal silence from NNPC about what is happening now.
Okay.
People is lingering, people are buying at all manner of prices. I bought just yesterday at 250 naira per litre, and what you see is that these independent filling stations who sell at 250, they don't queue at all, you just drive in and buy. So when you see queues at people who are still selling at regulated price, and how many of them are selling as we speak? So why is it that the depot of the same importer does not have, the private depot that supposed to collect from the importer now have? So somebody somewhere sabotaging the entire thing to ensure that people are buying at higher prices for personal drinks and gratification. That's why it's a criminal silence for many people and the government.
All right, more details of that on page 31 of the Punch newspaper. Very, very, very unfortunate. The silence is even what's more, hurting. Yes, thank you. All right, let's move now. We're moving on to Vanguard newspaper. Let's wrap things up. And the major headline from Vanguard newspaper: Health. Nigeria needs 12,000 doctors annually, and that's coming from Medical and Dental Consultants Association of Nigeria. And the riders to that is, it will take Nigeria 25 years to meet ideal target of 333,334. NMA adds, it's one doctor to 8,000 Nigerians now. So please take care of your health, pay attention to your health, manage yourself, good food, exercise, drink water.
If anything happens in this country,
before you say doctor,
when I see young people mixing all manner of things, abusing their health, taking all manner of, if anything happens to you, your eye will think, man, that's just the reality.
It's okay,
apart from
it's okay.
I know what I'm saying, Sandra.
I know what you're saying. You don't have time.
Okay.
People should stop mixing things and take care of them.
It's not part of the advice this morning. Just eat good food, sleep well, rest well, and stay away from all manner of things that can do. I'm telling you, from your health.
One doctor to 8,000 Nigerians. All right, government should address reasons doctors are leaving. That's coming from National Association of Resident Doctors. Declare state of emergency in health sector, Medical Guild says. That's on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. Please get more details, but most importantly, pay attention to your health. All right, moving on now, we also have PDP crisis. Atiku sets up committee to meet G5.
In this committee thing. You know the problem of PDP started with committee.
PDP and
They are
committee.
still on committee.
PDP and
They are committee people. Remember now the committee.
I thought the 37-man committee. I thought there was a reconciliation committee some months ago.
This one is another committee.
It's okay.
You know that there was also a group, I think the name of these elders in the party, they call them this,
I don't want to remember. More details on page 34 with PDP crisis. 2023, Obidati, NNPP, ADP, Flo Dogara over groups adoption towers, kill one in Rivers. They won't have light though. And that's on page 8 of Vanguard. Security, education, key to poverty reduction. That's coming from the presidential candidates as agreed at the town hall meeting held yesterday. That's on page 32. And finally, we have how we spent our own 13% oil derivation reform in Ondo State. And that is saying. Alright, and finally, you have no electoral value even in your local government area. Tinubu fires back at ex-SGF, Babachir Lawal, and that's on page 8 of Vanguard newspaper. We'll take a short break and we'll be back by 8:40, where we move straight to mainland focus to pick one or two trending stories from the front pages of our dailies, and then we'll open up the phone line for you to join in on the conversation. You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM, and we will be